of my personal life and how that affects my artistic practice. So if you start with how I started with this, that is Wrigley, the two-bodied man, and his companion Doc in a cataclysmic moment from a comic book Urchin Town that I was making when I lived in San Francisco on my back porch, which is about 4 feet by 4 feet. I would sit back there and make that, and how it got to this, which is what I made 2 years ago, which kind of exemplifies the work I do now. I do identify, I had this conversation with someone earlier, as a multidisciplinary sculptor. I deal with issues of impermanence, and when I say impermanence, I'm getting to the Buddhist doctrine that all conditioned existence, I don't need it. All conditioned existence is in a constant state of flux. So how did I start thinking like that? My apartment burned down with all 60 pages of the comic book that I was working on. And that night, effectively, I became a sculptor. I didn't make a sculpture for 4 more years, but it changed my relationship to objects and it furthered my idea of impermanence. So fast forward to Pittsburgh, 4 years later, I'm working as a bike messenger. In a day like that, man pulls up to me, rather innocuous, just says to me, "Oh, wet enough for you." The guy I'm riding with says to me, "Body's 70% water anyway." So of course, I think, okay, I have $300 in the bank account, I'm gonna go buy sponges because sponges hold water. Water is the body, and I make this. Quit my job. Made this. Applied to the Three Rivers Arts Festival where I won the festival award in 2001. The juror was a juror from the Hammer Museum, Howard Fox. Had a nice correspondence with him. International Sculpture Conference was here. I jumped in full bore and I thought, this is what I'm gonna do with my fucking life. This is amazing. So I decided at that point that I'm gonna become a sculptor, never having done it. 2 years later, the Three Rivers Arts Festival commissioned me to do this, Humboldt Gramine. This is about man's relationship to nature post-industrial revolution. So I would walk in the morning with everyone at 9 o'clock. I would get in this grass bed over 6 hours. I would take my clothes off until I just was in my pants. I should have been nude, but it's a public art piece. I did that, but I did that every other day for 6 hours. Got to know everyone. It was amazing. Planned my season performance. Then on to grad school. This is the final piece in grad school. Shows my use of the quotidian, repurposed, recycled, trash. That was $50 word to like 10-cent word of what kind of material that I use. So this is 1/5 of the beast that was shown in the Slot Foundation in several rooms as we got going. And at the same time, I did this concept for Pittsburgh Roars when anyone was here at the time. Why am I showing you this? This little black thing right here is an air blower. When this piece was done, they gave me the sculpture and they gave me the air blower. This has been inflated 1 time since my attic, nothing. That air blower right there, what am I going to do with that? That was really interesting to me. So I started taking all these materials I used, the plastic bags, the detritus, and I started inflating them with all these air blowers. This is where the Pacific Drash Vortex comes in. Everyone know what that is? Yeah. The guy in the Pacific Ocean, all the plastic floating around, thousands of square miles. Plastic does not biodegrade, it photodegrades, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. Encompassing environments, getting in the flora, the fauna, these things keep surviving. So I start thinking, okay, apocalypse is fun, human life dies, we're all dead. But consciously sees something to imbue with life to keep things going. So what do we have in abundance? Detritus, we have plastic. So I'm playing with the idea that this stuff is our new life form. So you go into the gallery, you go into these large rooms, and you see trash everywhere. As you walk through, motion sensors set off. They inflate, they light up, at times they crawl, real simple robotics. So this is the stuff that I was doing. There's one gentleman, no video, deflating, inflating, experiencing the whole thing. I'd gone snorkeling before I made this one, so there's a lot of aquatic references. I can't believe I'm going faster in the slides. Okay, on to this guy. So this is what I showed you before. This was at the Pittsburgh Center for the Arts 2 years ago. This is in response to my wife being ill and in the hospital. A lot of impermanence, transmutation, ideas of the such, but the reason this piece came to be is because her nurse was awesome. Looked at my website, got to be good friends with her. She took me into their supply room and said, take what you want. It was giving me body bags, strange catheters, all this really great stuff. So I took all that material and just what I was dealing with in my life at that time, I created this piece about death, transmutation, a little bit different than transformation. Instead of an object changing, it's changing its form and its substance. So, I'm ahead again. This is crazy. I didn't think I'd have to wait. Central to my process, drawing. I do say I'm a sculptor, but in between every project, I have to do drawings. Not painting. Painting is complete. Everyone shut your eyes just for a moment. You do not lack sight. There's a ton of visual information behind your eyelids. So this may be folly, but I'm attempting to take this somewhat ephemeral experience of what you see when you're sightless, when your eyes are closed, and physicalize that into the present world. And so it's coming across as those paintings. This is a piece I just did in Philadelphia with my wife and collaborator Marie Ramalia, Objects for Dance. We decided to take the idea that the performer, performer, the object, and the audience all have equal weight in a piece. Not one can exist without the other. So I built the objects in conjunction with them doing the dance. This guy was awesome. They did the performance for 4 hours twice. He hung around the corner of every performance waiting to get looped by this little chain we had, and every time he had that smile. So he had to get and I will say this, we did this showing twice, workshopped in Pittsburgh. Everyone was interactive and all full bore into it. It was awesome. Everyone in Philadelphia, except for him, was closed off and hard to get to interact. Says something about the city's. This right now, my video installations, which we haven't even touched on. This is downtown right now. It's 7 to 9 gallery on Penn. It is there for 10 more days. This wasn't part of, that's Casey's stepfather, who was gracious enough to help me with the piece. But this is a piece based on the tarot card. Now, on to the CSA. One piece Corey didn't show you, and I was glad he didn't get to show you because I can talk about it. Big fan of this. Lexi Morrissey's Have You Seen Me project. So, handmade ceramic bottle, precious object, great. The concept behind it. This is where it gets more complex and wonderful. He is exploring a fictional history based upon missing person advocacy in 18th century Africa. So, in a nutshell, that's what that piece is about. It's a beautiful project.
Come on now, Blaine. Slaves.
What's that?
Slaves.
Well, that's the missing
Yes.
person advocacy. Slaves. Yeah, slaves, humans, humanity, all that stuff. And then Corey, I think, mentioned, and Casey, shares are available. That's the end of the project. Thank you.
Do you have like a square? You're just gonna like take credit cards? And
Next year.
We forgot to tell you, this is an infomercial.
Supporting local artists.
Okay, next up. I don't know where we are. I got Stephanie. Rex. Oh, thank you. Stephanie.